Hello all. Today we are going to see a new feature from Salesforce which got released as part of Spring 23. This is still in beta, but I think this is going to be very useful for all the people who love using flows. So this feature allows us to call web-based service APIs using HTTP callout. So till this time, only open API based services were able to access from Salesforce, that is using external services. But with this beta feature, you can call any HTTP methods from Salesforce without even writing a code. So let us see how we will be able to implement this. To explore this further, I am planning to use Google API, which is for Google Blogger API, and see how we will be able to consume this from Flow. For that, what we need first is, in your Google app, you need to basically come up with a project where you will be setting up all the authorization details. For this, you need to create a project. So here you can see I have a project already created, but you will be able to create a new project from here. Just give the basic details and you will be able to click on create. And this has created a new project for us. And once the project has been created, so we will be able to open that project from here. This is the newly created project, and the first action that you need to do is, there is the auth consent screen. So the user type, we definitely want to access this service from external systems. So select external and click on create, and you can give some name for the app. Support email, you can give your own credential or your own username. And for now, you also need to give a developer contact name. Again, I can give my own username. Once this is completed, you can click on save and continue, and it will be going to the next screen, which is to select scope. So this one, for now we are not populating anything. Let us proceed, and you will be able to add test users. That is, since the app we are not going to publish at this moment, only the test users will be able to access or utilize the functionalities associated with this Google app. So again, I am using my own name. Again, continue. And you can give, you can see all the details here. So the app has been created. You will be able to go back to the dashboard, and there is something called credentials. Inside the credentials, you can, we are going to use auth. So here you will be able to create your credentials so that you will be getting a consumer key and consumer secret. Once you give all the details, for now I am skipping this process, and probably I can show you one of the existing project I have already created, and you will be able to see my auth client ID, client related details here. If you edit this, you will be able to see all the details related to client ID, client secret, and everything. That's what I am going to use in my Salesforce application to create the auth provider. So once this is done, the last step is to enable the API and services. So we need to, until and unless we enable a particular API as part of this project, you won't be able to consume that from an external system. So you will be able to enable API services from here. I'm going to consume Blogger API, so you can search for Blogger API here, and you will be able to select this and you will be able to enable. Since I am already enabled, I am getting an option to manage this. Otherwise, you will be getting an option to enable. With this, our basic setup has been completed on the Google platform. Now we need to open our Salesforce instance, and we need to set up all the credentials to access this API from Salesforce. For that, first what you need to do is create an auth provider. So let me go to the setup, open auth providers, and here I am already created an auth provider for Blogger API. I will be quickly showing you the all the details. Here the provider type, make sure that you are selecting it as OpenID Connect, and the consumer key and consumer secret you will be able to populate, and also make sure the default scope mentioned is OpenID. Once this has been created, you can go back and create a named credential. So let me go to that page. Click on name credentials. And you will be able to create a new legacy from here. And this is the one that I already created. So you can see here that, let me edit this. The only details that I provided is the API that I am going to consume, and the identity type is name principal. It is going to utilize auth, and the authorization provider that we just created, we need to add here, and also we need to add scope. So once this is created, I also like to show you something else. We need to test it out first. For testing this, there is something called Google Developers Playground available, or Playground. Using this, you will be able to test this API. For testing this API, what you need to do is, the first step, you need to select an authorized API. Like I mentioned, I am going to utilize all the Google provided public APIs are available here. You will be able to consume any of this. Since we are going to consume Blogger API, I selected Blogger API, and you will be able to click on Authorize API. So this is going to take you to your Google credentials, and you will be able to allow this one. So this is authorized already. Next step is to authorize. For that, you can just click on exchange authorization code. So there is an active authorization happened there. After that, you will be able to request service. So here you will be able to see, this is a get method that we are going to call, and the request URI also you will be able to mention here, and the scope that I just showed you as part of this named credentials that I fetched from here. That is when you set up and authorize the initial API. This is same as what we selected here. So this is the scope I populated there. Once you have done everything, you can call send request. So you can see this is a successful request, and all the response related details you will be able to see here. Using this, you will be able to test this. Now the next step is to create a screen flow and try to utilize this. So I have created a screen flow already, but how you will be able to consume this particular API from Salesforce, that I will be able to quickly show you. So for that, what you need to do is, you will be able to call an action from here, and on the category below that, you will be able to see an option now called create HTTP callout. This is a beta, like I mentioned. So you will be able to give your details, and you can select the named credentials that we just created. So it is going to automatically show you the URL that we are going to consume. Once you click on next, it's going to create the invocable action. So the previous screen actually created the external service for us automatically, and once you click on next, it's going to create the invocable actions for us. You will be able to select the method. So the object method is get, so it's going to show that automatically. And there is another important step. Once you have given all the details for creating the Apex invocable classes, we need to provide them with a sample code or sample response. For that, you can click on new, and we tested it just now, and we have a sample response with us. So select this, copy this, and you will be able to give that to this particular screen. And there is an option like click on review. So this is going to iterate over the given sample response and going to provide us with the data structure of the response. So this is the data structure where it is going to give us an array of items, and when you expand this, you can see it contains item, which is a single object, and each of the item contains details about your blog, like it contains the name, description, published details, or the post details, like how many total items you have published as part of that blog. So all those details will be available here. Once you click on done, I'm not going to do that now because I have done that already. Once you click on done, what it is going to do is it's going to create an external service automatically for you. So let us go to external services. Open this. You can see a Blogger API external service got created automatically, and it shows the service also that we are going to access. Also, you can see it shows the output parameters. There are three parameters. One is response code, and one is to access is the response class, which contains the list of items. So if you go back to the list of Apex classes, you can see under dynamic Apex classes, it shows all the Blogger related Apex classes that got created automatically. And if you open that, this is the initial one. It contains the details of what are the responses, and you can open the major class, which is the out to access, which we are going to get as part of the output response. And you can see this is a list of items, and each of the item actually contain this many details. So in your flow, we are going to access each of this, and we will be iterating and retrieving all the details from the API. Let me go back to the flow. And like I mentioned, this is the call blogger action that we just created, and under that you can see an advanced section where you will be able to map or each of your output response to a variable. These all are the variable that I created as part of my flow. So next screen, I created a screen action. Actually in the screen, I am actually outputting all the details that I received from the call out. So you can see response code, exception, if any exception, those details, and the response detail I am outputting to the screen. And then I am checking if it is a valid response, that is the response code is 200, meaning the call out is success. In that case, I am iterating over each of the item that we received, that is response val contains the response from that API call out, and items, we are iterating over each of the item. And in the screen, the next screen, for each of the items that we iterate over, I am displaying the name and the number of total posts that I publish as part of my blog. This is what we have done as part of this, and I can quickly execute or run this and show you the output. So the first action is the callout itself. So you can see the response code is 200 and there's no exception. That's why this is empty. And all the response details, you will be able to see each of the item details. So when I click on next, it is going to actually iterate over each of the item. I got only one blog as part of my Google account. So that blog name you will be able to see here. That is Mirar Nair Salesforce Insight, and I have the total post count is 29. And if this is not a successful call out, this was an exception that I got some time back. Okay, I think I closed it already. But if you have got some exception, you will be able to see those details as part of the exception. And this is how you will be able to call an external HTTP based service easily from a flow without even writing a code. I guess this is going to be helpful for everyone who are low code developers. Thank you so much.